Welcome back to part 2 of me and Bentley's conversation with gig drivers at GigCon 2023 in Denver. Hope you enjoy this little Q&A part of this discussion.
Don't be shy, y'all. Anybody got questions? We got Bentley, Coupe, and Pedro, DoorDash, Santiago up here, right? You guys got questions for us? Something you want to ask? The state of DoorDash? Anybody? Okay, I see a hand. What's up?
So
That's Nathaniel, right?
yeah,
Stand up, bro.
from Portland.
Portland in the house. Let's go.
You said something really interesting, and I gotta say, thank you for doing this, everybody. Like, thank you for being here. It's an amazing. I'm just honored to be a part of this. The positive interaction with the customer. How do you think we can overcome that when a lot of the pandemic has kind of forced us, a lot of us, into leave at the door, and a lot of customers don't want even a text messages. They've chosen not to kind of have that interaction. So, how would you overcome that challenge?
I'm gonna let my man Bentley answer that one. I like it. Good question, because it is harder. It's harder now. Yeah.
I'm gonna be stubborn. Okay, right? I'm gonna be stubborn. I don't really care that you don't want a text message, right? I get it, right? So that's a customer that's been ordering for years, okay? And they were there for the memes. They got all of those memes, right? And that's when they put the message in there, okay? So being respectful, understanding that we're not gonna spam our customers, right? But when you take the picture of the food and you push confirm, the drop down comes and it lets you know that it sent them a message. Tap that, go in there and say thank you, right? Let's just start with thank you. You know what I'm saying? Let's just start with thank you. If you have a hand to delivery, right? Because I had to figure this out. The give back, I'm calling it the give back campaign. The give back campaign that I'm telling you about. The video's gonna drop tonight. As soon as we leave here, I was uploading it over there. Okay, so even in doing that, I had to figure out how are we gonna do this? Because you're absolutely right. 90% of your orders are no contact deliveries, right? So how am I thanking the customers? How am I gonna give them back their money and know that they even got the money? You know what I'm saying? So let's just start with something small. Let's just start with a message that says thank you, right? And when you do have that positive, when you do have a hand to delivery, let's just give it a one-liner. I got lunch, right? I'm here, right? Just something corny. It doesn't even have to be funny. Let's do corny, right? Let's start with corny and let's develop it from there. The one thing that we want to do is we just want to be memorable, right? You don't want the customer to remember the person that sat the food in front of the door and they knocked over their drink because they sat it in front of the screen door, right? So we're just trying to replace those memories one order at a time. But to being stubborn, send the memes, bro. You feel me? Like, let's go back to sending the memes. Like,
if you made it this far in the delivery, let's be friends.
yeah, hey,
I love it.
I like that. That's love, right?
Say that. Hold up. Say it again.
That's love, right there.
If you've made it this far in the delivery, I know it's corny, but let's be friends.
Right.
I like it.
In my video, I hate saying it. DoorDash wants me to say that. That's the only reason. I keep it real. I told you, we don't keep it funky, right? We keep it funky. They want it in the video, right? Right. So at the end of the video is, if you made it this far in the video, I think that we should be friends.
Got it.
You feel me? So that's what we say. But yeah, let's go back to the memes. Let's just keep it simple. Let's just say thank you to the people that we appreciate.
Yeah, I like keep it simple. I think I've said that a few times. I think eye contact. If I'm dropping the delivery off, right, and it's a hand to me, I'm looking at them like hand it to them. I'm thanking them. Hey, thanks for placing an order today. Appreciate you. Hope I see you again. That's it. Like, it's literally 2 seconds, right? So I think a lot of us we forget that there's a customer on the other side and everything's numbers. That customer, DJ's, his number's 8 because it's an $8 run. But if you take the extra step to say thank you and look them in the eyeballs and comment, hey, I like your house or nice yard, or people they appreciate that little kind of things. If you're a ride-share driver, you got to read the room, right? Does that customer want to talk? If they want to talk, engage. If they don't want to talk, don't talk to them. Leave them alone, right? Tony would, he knows about that, right? So it's about doing those little steps of service that I think can help because we're all a market of one, right? So me and Trader might be close within 30, 40 miles, but he's touching different customers and consumers than I am most of the time. So you're gonna touch a lot of people the same week or same month. It's about building a real positive relationship with them, knowing that if it's bad delivery, instructions. You're gonna ask before you get there some questions because it saves you time, it saves them time. If it's a big office building and it says leave it at the door, you shouldn't be the driver leaving it at the front office. Like, these are simple things, but we miss them, right? Like, hey, it says leave it at the door, you know, is it a security office? Can I meet you here? What would you like? How do you want me to get you this order quickly? I know, you know, like, it's about doing the simple things. And I think getting back to basics is important. And we gotta win, you know, for a while we're fighting against the customer. Now we gotta like listen to them a little bit, right? Just listen to them a little bit and figure out why they do the things they don't do. And the ones that don't leave a tip, they're never gonna leave a tip. So you just decline it and move on, right? Any other questions? That was a good one. Anybody else got a question you wanna ask? DDIS, what's up? Go ahead.
Going by what you said about the forced withdrawal, voluntary withdrawal, that would imply that it seems like oversaturation is kind of based on having too many drivers. You know, some of those drivers actually not really working the platform, even though they're on it.
Right.
But that's not what I'm seeing, and that's not what I hear a lot of other drivers see. You know, you go to a spot, you know, I'll use Spark because Spark's my main one, but DoorDash too. You know, you see 20 drivers next week, you still see those same 20 drivers, but you see 20 new drivers. The week after that, I see those 20, and now I see 20 more. And it just keeps going like that. It's not because these drivers are no longer on it and that they're not working anymore. It's because the company is oversaturated. And that's what most everybody in here says. The people that I've talked to, it's been the same conversation. These companies, oversaturation. Why are we hiring 20 new drivers every week? Why do we keep putting so many drivers in here? And we all pretty much know that answer, which we all kind of, our opinion is that it's because the newer drivers will take every single order because they know they don't know that. They don't have to.
Right.
So my question to you would be, how do we fix that?
Right. So I understand that is the focus. I understand that's how people feel, but there again, everybody knows me. I'm gonna be different, right? Like I just think differently. So from a business standpoint, I worked in a call center. I worked in call centers for the better part of 15 years. Knowing how many people you're gonna have in position to take phone calls, right? That availability is something that is key for a business. So for DoorDash, when we start to think about, do you have Dashers from 6 or 7 years ago who are still kind of active, they're in and out, and then you have these Dashers too. How do they predict how many Dashers are going to be in, right? And then when they look at the average AR in your market and it's 15 to 16%, they can literally say, okay, well, if we send out 100 orders, only 15 of them are gonna get picked up. So how do we get the other 85 picked up? So we bring in more drivers, right? So when we look at it from a business standpoint, because I kind of agree with you, but I think these new drivers, they're watching our videos. They want the 3 Gs a week, right? So they're coming in and they're trying to get to it. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, so they're not taking anything. They're getting to it, but they're not taking anything. But for DoorDash, the question is always, how do we know how many people we're going to have to be in position to take the orders? And if we can't, because honestly, right, there's no minimum AR, right? And if you're doing by order, you can turn down as many as you want to. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're literally sitting there for 3 hours, you turn down 12 orders waiting for that one catering order that was $26. Again, I just had this conversation with somebody else. So DoorDash is gonna take that order regardless. That $2 order, they're taking regardless. They're not denying it. Somebody's gotta take it, right? So it's like, what do we do about those other orders? And if we have to bring in other drivers, see, and that's a moment where we have to realize we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Right? So that's a moment where we got to come together and say, all right, cool, I'm not taking $2 orders, but I'm going to have enough pride in myself to not let my AR drop below 50%, 45%, right? 60%, or whatever the situation may be, so that we can hold what we got, so that the Dashers that are here can make sure that they're getting money. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's how we approach that. But I think that just like the stock market, right? We need a reset.
Yes, sir.
We need a reset, just like with the housing market. We need a reset, right? Because people came through the pandemic and the money we made in the pandemic, you would never make again.
It'd be hard. Right? Not on one app.
Hands down, right? It was a lot going on. It was a lot to contribute to the situation. And it was an influx of money. So even then, you don't have people who are necessarily making content, But they are going home and they telling their cousin, hey, I just made, you know what I'm saying, $600 this week, right? You better come get some of this money. You know what I'm saying? So I think that kind of adds to it too. But we need a reset. You know what I'm saying? We need, and like Tony said, right? I'm gonna get that in there. We have to set the right expectation for the experience. You know what I'm saying, right? Like we gotta make sure that when you come in, you understand that you might make 20, but there are gonna be days where you make 12, 15, 17. You feel me, right? And there are gonna be days where you make 45, 50, $65 an hour too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, also, I think, you know, DoorDash in some markets will, now I've been seeing, they'll tell you there's too many dashers.
Yes.
Okay, who's experienced that? Okay, so we talk about saturation, it's a real thing. I'm not saying it's not. But there are times that DoorDash says, okay, no, there is too many, so I'm not gonna add somebody on. That could be both frustrating if you're trying to get on, but it's a good thing if you're already working, right? Because they're not allowing somebody else to come on, and they're not allowing another fisherman to be on your pond.
Yep.
Because they're saying, hey, there's only enough fish here, and we got 6 people fishing, that's it.
And that's something that they weren't doing before.
They weren't doing that before. So I feel like the saturation thing, I don't know how to feel about it, because, and Tony, even when he did the rideshare guy interview, mentioned they're consistently working on the best levels of dashers and zones. So that tells me that they know certain zones are now oversaturated, and they're trying to cut back in certain areas. Now that's just DoorDash. I think the other apps work in similar ways, maybe. Uber, I don't have to do anything, you just turn it on. But I'll turn Uber on, I won't see anything for 5 or 6 hours at a time, right? And sometimes they blow me up. So I think there's just so many different things with the saturation thing, because we also have to understand the first thing that happens, really the first thing is are the companies, Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, all of them, are they sending out promotional things, emails to the consumers or not? Because if they do that, you're gonna be busy. If they don't send out promo codes and things and discounts, probably gonna be slower. The second part is, are their customers ordering on the app? Because if there's not, we might feel like it's oversaturated because I'm not seeing anything, but it could also be the customers aren't ordering that day. They didn't get paid, it's a holiday, all these things that we know about, right? The saturation thing's always weird for me, because I feel like there are times that DoorDash kind of gets it right, and there are times I feel like, man, there's too many people out here, but what can we do? I don't know. It's interesting though. Any other questions? That's a couple good ones. Go ahead.
So trying to like phrase this correctly, I guess. What is, I guess, your view on communication to like DoorDash? Because just the other day I was delivering and I lost signal on my app, and I was trying to deliver to the customer, but I couldn't open the app, I couldn't do anything. Anyway, I got an automatic contract violation, and I couldn't do anything about it, but I told DoorDash about it, and then they didn't fix it, and it's still on my record. Like, how do we get
I
better
got a quick question. Let me make sure I'm getting it clear, and then I'll. So you had the food, you lost connection, but you lost the address.
I didn't actually even, I was at the restaurant, but I couldn't even pick up the order.
Or you couldn't even pick it up.
Yeah.
So for me, a couple things I've run into that. I think some of us have. I see some people nodding heads. It could be a good idea. It could be hard to do this, but if you know you're in a zone, like in St. Louis, there's an area where my phone signal drops. We all have that in our zone, right? We just don't get good signal or whatever. Maybe it's bad weather that day, so it might drop for that reason. Thunderstorms, it's raining, whatever. I'll take a screenshot of like the customer information, maybe the order number I'm picking up, so if something happens, I can still go to the restaurant with that screenshot information. That might be helpful in some restaurants, it might not. If I have the order in hand, I will take a screenshot of that address, so that if I lose signal, if I lose the address, something happens, I still have a screenshot. I can pop it in my phone, I can pop it in the car navigation, so I can still get the order delivered, so the customer gets it, and then I'll deal with support afterward, which could be fun sometimes, right? But that's some of the stuff I've kind of done.
And you said you got a contract violation from it?
Yeah, I
For being late to the restaurant?
Yeah, but I was at the restaurant. I just
Yeah.
didn't get up. I
Yeah.
didn't get the name of the customer or anything. It was just a black screen. Called them right away, and they still gave it to me. They gave me the name of the customer, and then I was able to pick it up. But then once I got it, luckily I kind of had a visual of where the location was. As soon as I got out of the location I was in, I was able to get, the exact location down and deliver it, and the app started working again. But the thing that's frustrating is that you still get the violation, and they don't remove it even though you're talking
Yeah.
It could take a couple of weeks to get that removed. It takes forever. I had one too like that.
Is
And it
this
took like
DoorDash?
2 weeks.
Yeah.
So there's actually on your thing where you hit the button and you just type
You
in
do
your
your appeal,
information
do your
on
appeal.
what had happened, and then it'll go to, escalated to the different support that takes care of that part. And then a few days after that, that will come up.
It takes a while for the appeal. Have you done your appeal in your app? Just give it some time and then call if it doesn't resolve itself in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, thank you. And then it seems like, because I had that happen when another customer said that I didn't deliver the order, but I actually did. And I didn't even get rid of it. I still had to go through the higher deliveries, and so far it's been like.
I think it's obviously super fun. I've probably, in my career life with the Dash apps, 6 or 7 contract violations. At one point I had 2 at once. One of the contract violations I've gotten was fair because I was late to the place. Everything else has been like, I did everything I needed to do. I've never not given somebody food. I've never knowingly done something bad or had a bad communication, you know. But I think we have to remember, like, it sucks to look at that contract violation. You know, there's a gaming of these apps to make it look, the colors, all these things look a certain way to make us feel a certain way. Yeah, and it's at the top, exactly. And it makes us feel a certain way. It's not a good feeling because you know you didn't do anything wrong. It was just an accident.
Right, and
And these-
DoorDash actually will tell you that some of those contract violations don't affect you.
They will tell you, you know, this is to my point. I appreciate you saying that. I think we have to remember, like, try to have a short memory. It's not easy, right? It's not easy. I relate a lot of things to sports because I love sports. I play sports. So if I'm a dude that plays basketball, and the night before I missed my last 5 shots, that's a shitty feeling. The reporters talked about me all day. I'm in the news. You missed 5. I see it everywhere. It's the first thing in my mind. I turn the app on. It's the first thing I see. I'm gonna play the next game. I ain't worried about the 5 shots, right? I'm gonna be okay, right? Do what you can with support, right? Hey, this happened. Communicate. Have an email to protect yourself because we do know there's deactivations and things. If I'm a basketball player, I'm talking to my teammates. Hey, I'm missing 5 shots. I got it today. Don't worry about it. Like, you gotta have that short memory and not allow it to bleed into the next dash, the next customer. You know what I'm saying? That's the best I can say to that.
Hey, do you think that there is a randomness to this algorithm, that it's this mighty algorithm? Are they getting used to what we're declining, what we're taking? Is it ever going to change? Is it ever going to get better?
You can change your own algorithm.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the algorithm. I think I know sometimes, and then it changes. This AI world is crazy. That's the best I can say. It's wild, but yeah.
I do think that they spend a lot more money on the algorithm than they do on anything else. I do think that it's kind of a self-learning machine, and I think that it is hard to understand, and I think that's on purpose. You know what I'm saying, right? Like, I think that's on purpose. I think just the strategy that I'm moving towards, and like I've said a couple times here, those $2 orders, those $3 orders, and I'm gonna say 4, right? Because that's where I'm not going any lower than that, right? But those orders aren't going anywhere, and it's the people that have the team mentality, that are coming in, that are at least trying to do 1 or 2 of these orders, that are seeing better results in the long run, right? So my thing is, when I come in, that first order is gonna be trash, right? It's $4.50. It's like 4 miles, right? It's McDonald's, first thing in the morning, it's gonna be super crowded, whatever. Let me go ahead and get this in, right? Let me get this dropped off, right? And like he said, short memory, okay? I'm in, out, gone, get it out of my car, right? And then what I start to see is, it's like $4.50, $6.50, $8. Then I get my catering, and I got 12, 10, 15, you know what I'm saying, right? So it's like coming in, but it's like, if you're coming in, and you're like, nah, it's only me, right? It's just self. I'm not taking anything less than $10. Y'all can do whatever you want to with those orders. DoorDash is like, all right, cool. Well, you sit and wait on that. You feel me, right? And that's literally where it is, because there again,
And that sucks. That sucks, right?
These orders are coming in.
Yeah.
You feel me, right? And somebody has to take these orders, and there are people that take those orders, right? But at this point, it's like we all have to contribute. And I feel like that's the new algorithm. Yeah.
Interesting. Who else got anything juicy? Any juicy questions?
Yo.
Oh, Craig, what up? What up? What up?
So, earn my time. I know Pedro's experience with it. I know Trader's experience with it. Some people don't have it in their market yet, which is kind of weird to me. It's been out for a while.
Yeah, Denver doesn't have it.
Huh?
Yeah, Denver does.
They don't have it.
Not here? Okay.
They have it in Pueblo though.
Lucky you.
They just told me that the only place in Colorado has is Pueblo.
Durango too. That's
Durango.
Durango.
Down there. So, Mr. Bentley, have you yourself experienced the joy and crown jewel of Earn My Time?
Yes.
Shout out to Craig. Shout out to Craig.
Shout out to Craig. From my experience, you turn on the app and after the first 3 no-tip orders, you're like, okay, I see how this is gonna play out. I'm going to jail today. See Craig on TikTok, because I'm going to jail today. I'm going to switch it over. So I want to know if you yourself have had the same joyous experience as me, Pedro, Trader, all these people in here that have experienced the same thing.
No.
Have you?
No. Short answer, no. I was a little worried about Earn My Time. I only use it now to like fill in the gaps. So I normally work, well, now I'm 7 in the morning to 12:30. Come back and work from like 4 to 7:30. So from about 9:30 to 11 is dead. And this is the time where I'm gonna get in Earn My Time, right? So any order that I would normally get during this time by Earn My Order is probably gonna be $2 or $3. It's gonna be these orders that I don't wanna get, right? But when I do it by Earn My Time, I'm getting paid by my active time. So I'm not hoping and praying that the restaurant is taking forever, but I'm okay with taking my time, right? Like I'm okay, you feel me, right? Like I'm okay. If you're okay with not putting a tip on there, right? Even after they tell you that you should probably put one on there so you can get it faster, right? I'm okay with just breathing before lunch comes, right? Before the real chaos comes. So that is normally when I work Earn My Time. When I have my bike, when I am shooting the ride along and I have my e-bike, I always do Earn My Time. That's just kind of like my thing. And what I've noticed is that when I do that, they send me catering orders. So right. So if you watch the videos, you know, right? So I got, the last time I had a $150 order from Dunkin' that was like 2 coffee totes and like 200 munchkins or something like that. I had a $400 order from McAllister's, and there again, so this is Earn My Time. So those orders, the DoorDash pay is maybe like $2 or $3, but the tip is like 30. So, and I know that like these are anomalies. I know other people are not seeing these experiences. I wasn't even sure if I could get catering orders with Earn My Time. You know what I'm saying? So
a couple of my friends on the team here at Gateway, they enlightened me like, yeah, it is possible. Like,
Yeah.
we've actually experienced that. Me, of course not. But it is possible. I've heard it. A few different instances where it just popped up here and down the car, and I was like,
I did it in my car last week. Like I said, during that dead time, and then I had to tap out because they sent me 2 or 3 orders. I did 2 that didn't have a tip, and it was just like $4 total.
Did you think no tip, no trip in your brain?
No, not at all. It's like you say with the shot, bro. I'm just like, just shoot it. You know what I'm saying? And get it out the way. But yeah, so then they sent me the next order and it's like decline, and then they're like, you only got 1 more. You feel me? And then I just tap out from there. But that's only happened to me twice. Earn My Time. Yeah.
Crazy. Listen, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Let's give it up for Bentley real quick, guys. He's been really, like everybody, we're all connected, and he spent a lot of time talking to everybody, and I think that's great. My man to my right, Mr. FDA.
The one and only.
Stop.
It's the one and only.
So he's really, really, really good at editing. So he's gonna be doing a little live tutorial showing you how he edits, what he does to make the content. So if you're a content creator, I think we got many up and coming content creators in here, or maybe OG content creators, or might want to chop it up with
Yeah, I appreciate you. Let me just grab that microphone from you there.
right.
You know how I do. I just take over, So what we're gonna be doing, guys, I want to show you how I do my thing. You know, I know who y'all came here to see. You know, it's all good. We appreciate that great conversation, but this is FBA Nation. I know I love all you guys. So look, I'm gonna be.
Come back later this week for more GigCon content. All right, Ruby, say hi. So we're going back home. Say hi.